Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is really getting into something we hear about a lot, improving your English speaking.
That's right.
We've looked at some really helpful insights, and, well, the goal is to give you the key takeaways, help you speak with more confidence and, actually see some progress.
Exactly. So whether you're just starting out with English or maybe you've been learning for a while, but speaking still feels tricky, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Yeah.
We're going to look at why speaking can feel so hard sometimes and share some practical techniques, things backed by, how we actually learn, hopefully make it feel less intimidating and more effective.
You know that feeling, though?
Yeah.
Maybe you're in a conversation, people are talking fast, using words you don't quite catch.
Oh, yeah.
You might understand, okay, reading or listening, but then it's your turn.
And blank. Your mind just goes blank.
Right. Or the words feel clumsy. It's super, super common for English learners.
Absolutely. It's like your brain just stalls.
Yeah.
And from what we've seen, the first and maybe the biggest hurdle isn't always about vocabulary or grammar. Not really.
It's fear.
Bingo.
I remember trying to learn another language, and so many times I just froze. Not because I didn't know any words, but I was scared of messing them up. Scared of sounding weird or people just not getting me. Felt like my brain was trying to run a marathon, but my mouth wouldn't even, start.
That fear.
Yeah.
The fear of mistakes, of maybe feeling embarrassed, it's incredibly powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can just completely stop you from even trying. But here's a really key insight from the material. Making mistakes. It's not just okay.
It's necessary.
It's absolutely essential for learning any language. Your brain is basically experimenting, figuring things out.
Okay, so if fear's the big wall, how do we get over it? This is where confidence fits in.
Exactly. The information we looked at points to this again and again. Confidence and progress in speaking are totally linked. It's not just a bonus. It actually drives the learning.
We saw this really clearly with the example of Riley. Now, Riley had studied English for, 3 years?
Yeah, about that.
Her grammar was good, writing fine, listening pretty decent. But speaking,
Total freeze up.
yeah, terrified of mispronouncing, using the wrong tense, all that stuff.
The knowledge was there, you see, but the confidence to actually use it wasn't.
So what changed?
Well, the turning point seemed to be when she was just encouraged to speak. Just talk, let the mistakes happen, focus on communicating, not being perfect.
And what happened then?
Slowly, she started. A little hesitant at first, sure, but the more she did it, the more comfortable she felt.
It's like you said, confidence isn't something you just have.
It's something you build by doing. You don't wait to feel confident before you start speaking. You start speaking, maybe imperfectly, to build the confidence.
Right.
And once Riley started practicing regularly, even with the errors, her progress just took off, like dramatically. Within a few months, she was having full conversations without that hesitation she had before.
Wow. That really highlights something else we saw, didn't it? About the research.
Yes, there was mention of a study, I think it was University of Cambridge, around 2018.
Yeah, that one.
It found that students who actively practiced speaking mistakes, and all really understanding, they improved their overall language skills about 40% faster.
40%. Faster than those who just focused on grammar rules or reading.
That's a huge difference. It really shows that, well, having the courage to practice, even imperfectly, really pays off. So step one is accepting mistakes are okay. They're learning tools. Step two is building confidence through actually doing it.
Okay, so foundational steps. Accept mistakes, build confidence through action, but then what? Once you're ready to practice more, what specific things can you actually do?
Right, the practical stuff. That's the next layer. And we found several really useful techniques suggested.
Let's hear them.
Okay, first one, maybe the simplest. Make speaking practice a daily habit, every day.
Even if you don't have someone to talk to.
Especially then. Speaking aloud to yourself is incredibly effective, particularly for beginners.
Okay, it sounds a bit weird maybe, talking to yourself.
It might feel odd at first, but honestly, try it. Just narrate simple things you're doing.
Like what?
I am walking to the kitchen. I am opening the fridge. I need some milk. Simple stuff. It gets you used to forming sentences, hearing your own voice in English, but without any pressure.
And it helps with the physical part too, right? Getting your mouth used to the sounds.
Exactly, that muscle memory.
Yeah.
Getting comfortable with the physical act is so important. Okay, technique number 2. This one might also feel a bit awkward, but it's powerful. Record yourself speaking.
Ooh, I think people hate hearing their own voice. Why is listening back so useful?
Because when you record yourself, you hear yourself more like how others hear you. objectively.
Oh,
It can
great.
spot sounds you struggle with, notice your rhythm, your intonation, places where you hesitate.
Yeah.
The material suggested that learners who did this regularly recorded themselves, listen back. They saw real improvements in pronunciation and fluency because they knew what to work on. It's like holding up a mirror to your speech.
That makes a lot of sense. You can't fix a problem if you don't know it's there. Okay,
Yeah.
what else? There was another technique. Shadowing.
Yes, shadowing. This one's fascinating.
How does it work?
So you listen to a native English speaker, could be a short podcast clip, maybe a YouTube video, even a line from a movie,
Okay.
and you try to speak along with them, either at the exact same time or like just a split second behind. The goal is to copy everything, their rhythm, the stress on words, the pronunciation, perfectly.
So you're not just listening, you're actively trying to mimic them as they speak.
Precisely. You're shadowing their speech pattern. And the info we saw suggests that doing this, even for just 10 or 15 minutes a day,
So 15.
yeah, focus shadowing,
Hmm.
it can seriously improve your intonation and fluency pretty quickly. We're talking noticeable changes within months sometimes. It really trains your mouth and your ear to sync up, helps you sound much more natural.
Wow, 15 minutes feels really doable. Okay, next technique.
Learn in chunks.
Chunks. You mean like phrases or whole sentences, not just single words?
Exactly that. So instead of just learning the word beautiful, learn a whole phrase like, that's a beautiful view, or she has beautiful eyes. Our brains seem to handle language better in these ready-made units.
Okay, and how does learning chunks help with speaking?
Well, when you have these phrases ready to go, you don't have to mentally build every sentence from scratch, word by word.
Ah, less processing time.
Right. You can just pull out the chunk you need.
Yeah.
It makes your speech smoother, much more like how native speakers actually talk. Plus, you learn words in context.
So it builds fluency and naturalness using common patterns. Got it.
Exactly. Okay, finally, and this might seem obvious, but immerse yourself. Surround yourself with English.
Right? Listen to music, watch TV. But how do we make that active for speaking practice?
Good question. It's not just passive listening, though that helps. Try to engage actively.
How?
Pause a show and repeat a line you just heard. After listening to something, try to summarize the main points out loud, just to yourself. The more English is around you, the more familiar it becomes. It makes it easier to grab words and phrases when you need them for speaking. You get a feel for natural expressions.
Okay, let's bring this back to Riley. How did she use these ideas, her routine?
Yeah, so Riley set up this daily routine, about 30 minutes each morning, focused purely on active speaking.
What did she do?
She'd start by listening to something short in English, like a news clip or a bit of a podcast.
Okay.
Then she'd spend maybe 10 minutes doing that shadowing technique we talked about.
Actively copying the speaker.
Right, trying to match the rhythm and sound. After that, another 10 minutes just talking. Talking about the topic she just listened to, in her own words, no script. Just getting the thoughts out, even if imperfectly.
It's just freestyle speaking. And the last part.
She would record that 10 minutes of talking.
And listen back, even though it might be hard to hear the mistakes.
Exactly. And apparently, yeah, at first it was tough. Lots of pauses, mistakes, just like she feeled. But the key was she kept doing it. Day after day. Consistency.
And what happened over time?
Within weeks, she started noticing improvements. Little things, at first speaking a bit more smoothly. Her pronunciation got clearer. But maybe the biggest thing was her confidence started to grow because she was tackling the very thing she was scared of every single day.
And long term?
After about 6 months of this routine, her fluency had improved so much that her friends noticed. They actually commented on how much more comfortable and natural she sounded speaking English.
That's a great story. It really shows how combining that consistent practice with these specific techniques.
And letting go of that fear of being perfect,
Yeah.
it really works.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. If you had to boil down everything we explored, what's the absolute core message?
Improving your English speaking. It's not magic. It really comes down to two things: consistent, active practice, and building your confidence by just doing it, speaking, even when it feels messy.
And the single most important piece of advice.
Please don't be afraid to make mistakes. Seriously, they're not failures.
They're just data points.
Exactly, they're guideposts. Information for your brain. Every mistake helps you get better.
And remember that just being around English helps too.
Absolutely. The more exposure, the more comfortable it feels, the more automatic it becomes.
So we really hope you'll try picking one or two of these things, maybe the daily self-talk, or shadowing for 10 minutes, recording yourself.
Yeah, just try incorporating something small into your routine, even 10, 15 minutes a day. You will see a difference if you stick with it.
Think of it like learning an instrument or a sport.
Good analogy. Every practice session, every time you try, you're strengthening that skill. It's a journey, right? Every step counts.
So keep practicing. Be brave. Make those mistakes. Let the confidence build. And try to enjoy it. It's pretty amazing learning another language.
It really is. Okay, here's a final thought to leave you with. If we know that consistent, focused practice is the key, what's one small thing, one tiny step you could take today to start? Could it be shadowing just one short audio clip for 5 minutes? Or maybe just trying to narrate your next walk to the shop out loud in English? What's one little action you can take right now to move forward?